Hi, this is Yvonne McNary, and I'm with Cabrina Buckman this morning. And Cabrina is from our Washington County Extension Office, and she's the Family and Consumer Service Agent out there. And we're going to talk a little bit today about vegetarianism, and then we're going to talk about making pumpkin apple muffins.
Doesn't that sound good?
It does.
It's fall time.
I know. I'm ready for this. I'm all ready for it. You know, all these wonderful foods and things that go on. And I'm going to read off the recipe to start, and if you'll point out each one of the items there,
Okay.
we can let everybody know what we have here. We've got 1 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour.
That's right here.
1 1/4 cups of whole wheat flour.
Right here.
1 1/4 teaspoons of baking soda.
Right here.
1/2 teaspoon of salt.
Here.
1 1/2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon. And 1 teaspoon of ground ginger.
Yes, the ginger and nutmeg are right
All
here.
of our spices.
Yes.
And we've got 1 1/2 cups of honey.
Over here.
And 2 large eggs.
Yes.
Oh gosh, this sounds so rich.
Yes.
It sounds so rich. But we were talking a little bit earlier about vegetarians. They can eat some of the items that are on this table.
Yes, all of them, and it just depends on the level of vegetarianism that they are at. Some people don't consume eggs and products that come from animals like milk or eggs, but those who consume eggs can certainly have this recipe.
Okay, fantastic. So there are different types of vegetarianism.
Yes.
And is it very popular in this area?
I hear it just depends on personal preference. I hear some vegetarianism in this area, but it's a good idea for everyone to include vegetables and non-meat products in your diet, whether you include meat in that or not, because there is a lot of nutrition in these items. And I can go ahead and get started. I'll kind of review the nutrition as we go.
Okay, that sounds great.
All right, so as with baking, you start with your dry ingredients, then you mix those, and separately you mix your wet ingredients, and then you combine them together.
Okay.
So we're going to start with our different types of flour.
And that's our 1 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour. And our whole wheat flour.
Yes, so including a little bit fiber in there.
And the reason we give you all this information is so that you can write it down and make your own pumpkin apple
Yes,
muffins.
we also have those recipe cards available at the extension office, so you can feel free to come and get one.
Okay.
This is our baking soda, and this is our salt. These will be leavening agents, and what that does is produce air pockets in your baking goods so that they will rise. You'll get a nice light product. And then we're going to mix in the flavor of our cinnamon, nutmeg, and ginger.
Yes.
It smells so good.
Now those are the 3 ingredients that make you think of pumpkin.
Yes.
You know, without those, they're just whatever. You know, it's just. But this gives it the flavor, and it gives you that fragrance when you have them in the oven, and you can smell it cooking.
Yes. Most people actually think of this when they think of pumpkin spice in the fall. Really, you're thinking of the nutmeg and ginger. Okay, so these are our dry ingredients, and those are mixed pretty well. Now we're going to move on to our wet ingredients. So we have our honey, and honey is a good alternative for a sweetener, because if you buy local honey, it can help with your allergies, kind of builds up your immune system.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you about, your local honeys, because we have so many honey outlets here in this area.
Yes, there are beekeeper associations with the extension offices in each county, so you can go to your extension office and see where the local honey is in your county. Also, we have canola oil, then eggs, and this is giving some good protein, so that could be a source of protein for the people who are abstaining from meat when we talk about vegetarianism. And here is pureed pumpkin. Now this is from a can in a grocery store. And I also brought, for comparison's sake, this is from an actual pumpkin like this. This is a pie pumpkin. If you're going to puree your own pumpkin, then you want to choose a smaller pumpkin like that, not a big jack-o'-lantern pumpkin. That won't give you very much flavor. But this is the puree from a pumpkin like this.
But they look so different.
Yes, they do. They look very different, so you can see the difference in color is pretty great.
And we talked earlier, the parade fresh pumpkin here, it looks like baby food that we would find in the store.
Yes.
Very pretty, very goldish colored.
Yes. There's not a significant difference in nutrition on fresh versus canned. So really it just depends upon your preference as far as taste. The canned is definitely more convenient because you have to go through a few steps to puree your own pumpkin. So if you all want to do that at home, call me at the extension office and I will walk you through that. But now you have all your wet ingredients and you're going to mix them all together.
That looks nice and rich too.
Yes. And you notice that there was no sugar in here, and that's because the honey is being used as the sweetener. So if you are concerned about excess sugar in your diet, then this could be a good recipe for you.
And as we stir, it's looking better and better all the time. And you know, too, with all of our recipes, I'd like to always invite children into the kitchen to help a little bit. So that mom's arm gets tired of stirring. Kids' arms never get tired, do they?
Kids love cooking. They really do. Any cooking programs that we do with children, they just love hands-on experience.
And for something like that, something like this, they love to be a part of it.
Yes, and if you're pureeing your own pumpkin, then they can certainly help you scoop out all the fibers and the seeds. These are pumpkin seeds that I brought from when I made this pumpkin puree. So you can keep the seeds and roast them in the oven. This is just, I mixed in about a tablespoon of olive oil and some sea salt and just roasted them in the oven. But you can add any spices that you'd like, and they make a great snack, good source of protein. Okay, so now that we have that pretty well mixed up, thank you.
We're going to mix it all together.
We're going to mix it all together.
And as you've noticed, it hasn't taken very long to put all this together.
No, not at all. Most of the time is really just in the prep work of getting everything measured and chopped.
And like I said, kids can help you with that, the measuring. And that's a good thing to get them started on measuring at home. So that when they have it at school, it'll be easy for them.
Yes. That is something else that they really enjoy doing. In our cooking classes, we often point out that when they are measuring liquids, we want to keep the measuring cup on the flat surface of the table so that they're not measuring while trying to hold it and getting an accurate measurement because they're holding it like this.
Yeah, that's a good idea. And a lot of those ideas that you're giving to the kids are good for the adults too, because from time to time I've tried to measure that way too, in the air.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I think that's about right.
All right, so we have that pretty well mixed up. Now we're going to add in our apples.
And these are fresh apples?
Yes, these are Granny Smith apples. And they're just a little more tart, so it'll give it a good balance of flavor here with all the sweetness.
So you have the cinnamon, you have the ginger, you've got the nutmeg, and now you've got the apple flavor in there.
Yes.
Oh gosh.
And if you wanted to add even more protein, you could mix in some walnuts or pecans, and that would also provide healthy sources of fat. So now you have your mixture, and you're just going to fill out your muffin tins. Easiest way to do that is to use an ice cream scoop or a melon baller.
Okay.
So you're not fighting with two different spoons.
There we go. You show us how to do that.
All right, and I usually spray my baking cups so that my muffins will come out pretty clean and easy.
Oh.
So just a quick spray in each one. Yes. Well,
I used the little muffin papers there.
Yes.
But I've never sprayed them before. That's a good idea. I'll try that.
Yes, it will certainly help the product to come out a little easier. So you fill that about 3/4 of the way full, and stick it in the oven for about 30 minutes at about 350. And
okay, I'll give the directions for the oven. Preheat oven to 325 degrees in a large bowl. And this time we used the muffin things there. And we got to fold it in apples, and it's going to yield about 18. This little bit, 18.
Mine actually went further than 18 when I pre-made it.
That's a lot of muffins. That's a lot of muffins. I'm going to move this just over to the side, and we'll bring the muffins up a little bit.
All right.
And through the magic of television, the television oven, we now have...
Ta-da! Here are muffins.
Here are muffins. Whoa! Drum roll. There we go. There we go. We've got our wonderful muffins. Now tell us about the calories, the fat, and all the wonderful things about these muffins?
Well, it should all be on here. 200 calories.
Now, is that per muffin? That's per muffin, right? 200 per muffin, okay.
7 grams of fat. The cholesterol is 35 milligrams. 35 grams of carbohydrate.
Is that cholesterol, is that good, bad, in the middle, 35
These are all
milligrams?
good numbers because these are healthy products that we're putting into the food.
Okay.
And then 2 grams of fiber, so that's a good source of fiber. It keeps your gastrointestinal health intact. 3 grams of protein, so good for your skin health, good for your reparation of your cells, good for your energy, your overall health. Also, pumpkins and sources of this yellow and orange, like the squash and pumpkins that we see in the fall. They are good sources of vitamin A, so good for your eyes and your skin.
Okay. And as we said too, it's easier. This recipe is an easy one for the kids to help with. So this is something that you can make at home. And with the holidays coming up, believe it or not, this is a recipe that everyone should be able to use.
Yes.
A few ingredients, but these are most of the ingredients that you find in the house already, don't you think? And they're easily accessible at your local grocery stores. Yes, indeed. Well, listen, thank you so much for coming out today and showing us how to make pumpkin apple muffins.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, and if our viewers would like to get in contact with you, how can they reach you?
I'm at the Washington County Extension Office, so our phone number there is 859-336-7741.
Okay. Well, listen, thanks again for coming.
Thank you.
This has been Yvonne McNary for Central Kentucky Television.